Hello, students. I'm back for the continuation of the evolution of travel and tourism. This part two contains the development of travel and tourism during the 19th to the 20th century. So, in this first slide, we can see that photos of old train. So, the changes in transportation, like this, the development of a railway system, is a way to progress the development of travel and tourism during the early times. Not only the train, but even the aircraft brought a significant development in travel. So, people who would like to speed up their travel time would usually take the train or opt for the train to reach their destination, especially if it's going to another country. Now, the 19th to the 20th century has brought a lot of social and technological changes that we will discuss in the next slides. There are also advances in science and technology, like I have shown you previously the invention of rapid, safe, and relatively cheap forms of transportation. So, railways and passenger aircraft were invented during the early 19th century. Although, of course, the world has suffered significantly in the World War II, resulting to destruction of a lot of physical spaces and death of people. But even though it has brought a dramatic improvement in communication and air transportation, which made travel much easier today than the earlier times. I have said social change, okay? So let's focus on social change first. During the early times, if you will recall, in our part one, Industrial Revolution period, most people, or I would say that man dominates the manufacturing companies, and during those times women usually stay at home and do some household chores. But during the 19th century we're in, there's a change of lifestyle, and that women also joined the workplaces. Then that also created a positive change in the income of people. So before, if it's only the father who's earning for the family, and that income would basically be enough for for the needs of the family. But since now that both parents are working, they have more extra income to spend. And so that social change of only men in the workplace, but now men and women are working, brought to an increased demand for travel. And another thing is the presence or the advent of computer leads also to some travel changes. So because of technology nowadays, people can afford to work away from the office. People can afford to work from home. So that results to flexible working hours or compressed hours, giving people the time that they need for them to travel. And let's look at the other changes. So, as I've said, the rapid and safe and relatively cheap forms of transportation paved the way to more travels. Like nowadays, you can see that you have the option to choose a cheaper airfare by availing of the low cost carrier. Low cost carrier or LCC is a way for you to travel through air at a cheaper price. Although, of course, it's a little bit inconvenient because your leg space is tighter, and probably you have to buy food or you have to buy your luggage. But this gives people, like common people, the opportunity to avail also of air travel. Now, to go more in details, in the 1980s, It's called the boom years of tourism. So business and leisure travel expanded very rapidly. The baby boomers were coming of age and they had the money to spend. These travelers were looking for a variety of tourism products, from exciting vacation options such as adventure travel, ecotourism, and luxurious travel. So the 1980s also brought not only a significant expansion in the travel market, but also in tourist destinations. The fall of the Berlin Wall in Germany in 1989 signified the doom of communism in Europe, opening more barriers, okay, or opening the barriers between countries. Countries such as Russia and Czech Republic became new tourist destinations both for vacation and business travelers. So let's take a look. These are photos taken. I actually grabbed it from the internet, from Google. Images of the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. As you can see, it became a mass activity wherein people would want to be photographed as the Berlin Wall is collapsed. So even a kid would usually break the wall, and old people as well, uh, leaving graffitis because it is something significant for them. And here we can see a lot of people really looking at those who are on the opposite side of the wall, and here celebrating the end of communism in Western Europe. So, because of this, more destinations, as I've mentioned, in Europe, like Czech Republic, was open to tourism. Okay. Also, business and leisure travel expanded rapidly. When we say business travel, because the world became or the world opens and the global market is actually very active during that time. So a lot of people are, traveling to do business in other countries. And they don't just avail of a simple seat in an aircraft, but are usually offered by their companies a business seat or, a business class accommodation. Like here, we have a check in counter that entertains people in the business class. We have here an airport lunch. And when we say business and leisure, the first reason for traveling is to do business. And since people are already there for business, they might as well maximize their stay by doing some leisure activities also. In the 1980s, travelers were looking for a variety of tourism products, such as adventure travel, like what you see here, okay? Or people go to places to find adventure, like maybe this one is, I think, bungee jumping or cliff diving, or probably this is, what's this? Zip lining and caving, or an adventure in the sea. Okay, let's see more pictures taken. So this at the middle is a picture that showcases ecotourism. This is also leisure travel because aside from going places, you go places using luxury ships. So this ship serves also as a hotel or an accommodation as they go from one place to another. And another example of a luxurious travel would be traveling to South Africa and having the adventure activity like ballooning, okay, or yeah, this is riding the hot air balloon for them to see or look at the safari. Okay, moving to the 1990s, the aviation industry was facing high operational costs, including wage oil prices, handling fee for central reservation system, and landing charge of the aircrafts and advertising fee, etc. I'd like to explain what is a central reservation system, or a CRS. A central reservation system is an application wherein people can directly book a flight, not only to book the flight, but they can also avail of the seat that they would want, to choose options for their meal, and to choose whatever comforts they wanted to have during their travel. And not only common people, but other third parties were invited to do this. That paved the way to the online travel booking that we have right now. So that's the CRS, or the Central Reservation System. So CRS also marched towards a more sophisticated technology, more sophisticated in the sense that in the traditional way, during the early times, usually when you buy a ticket, you only get a piece of paper that shows you that you have bought a seat on a specific flight schedule, but you don't know where you will be seated, you don't know how it looks like, you don't know what will be served to you. But nowadays, these are known: where to seat, what kind of seat, what kind of food, and what other options or freebies that you can avail when you buy a seat. Agents book huge inventory of tourism products. Because of this technology, things were more connected. So, tourism products such as hotels, car rentals, cruises, rail passes, and theater tickets can be booked and buy from the CRS. So, it's easier. So, before you really have to go to a travel agent for you to have a package tour. This time, you can do it by yourself. You can actually look for a third party who will give the package to you. So, in other words, travel is becoming more convenient to people, and it's laid or put on their table, so it's easy for them to choose from different packages. Okay, so passengers do not have to worry about carrying or losing tickets because of the electronic ticketing. They do bypass, or we do bypass now, the travel agents as intermediaries. So instead of having this instead of having, the ticket being issued to you directly by the travel agency, you can get an electronic ticket. An electronic ticket looks like this, but usually the scan code, or the Q code, will allow the airport staff to scan the details your uh, of your uh, of your ticket. Okay, so where are you going? Who are you with? What's your purpose? And so on and so forth. So you don't need to worry if you lose like a piece of paper because it's in your phone. Okay, and also, uh, 1990s gives us an easy access to internet. So travel information, booking a simple ticket or a hotel room through personal computer can be done at home. Like this is actually a screenshot of Kayak, wherein it gives you the name of the hotels that you have chosen, like in Rome, Italy, from what date, okay, for how many people and how many rooms. And when you just click find hotels, you know this very well. So you're given the options of the the stars of the hotel. Okay, so if we can see here, the person clicked on a 5 star, so there might not be a star. So instead, there are 5 star. These are 5 star hotels that has an average of $162. So you can see that the prices are here, okay, and prices are varies depending on the online travel agent or online travel site that you will be booking that one. It also gives you a glimpse of how your hotel looks like, and even the inside or even the guest room is also visible. So decision making is very easy because one thing that describes a tourism product is the intangibility, meaning to say you don't see the product not until you look at it, but this time you do see the product here, okay, that makes you decide more easily. So, new destinations, tour products, and discounted airfares for travelers to choose from are made available in the 1990s. And I bet you know this very well because maybe for you, you don't need travel agent to do this for you. Okay. Also in the 1990s, airlines and other travel suppliers selling directly to travelers through internet, and this is an interactive kiosk at the airport. So it's just the same here. You can choose the airline, you can choose the time, you can choose cheaper fare if you want a red eye flight, or you can choose the route where you will be passing by. And here is an example of a kiosk. So this kiosk would usually sell an accommodation, transfer tickets such as bus ticket between the airport and downtown, and tickets from one city to another. So again, less people, more on technology, so people can do their thing along the way as they travel. And more examples, more ways of speeding up your decision making. So if you see here, there is a destination from Chicago to Prague. This is the date, and you have the target date here from March 20 up to March 27 for one person. And if you would like to compare the prices of kayak to another online travel agent like Priceline, it gives you the comparison. But for now, what you can see here on the calendar is actually on the calendar are the different prices of the airfare. So if you leave on March 2, that gives you a price of 717, which is $2 cheaper on a Sunday and on a Tuesday. Or if you decide to delay your flight and do it on the 10th, look at the price increase. There might be an activity at the place when it comes to this price, or maybe something's going on, that's why the price is high. But on the average, we can see that it's between 717 to 819. Now, if your purpose is, to just spend time to another country, you may want to consider looking at your budget and check the air ticket to these different places. Like if you go to Morocco, that's $704. If you go by Spain, going to 646. If you go to Italy and Greece, it's almost the same, 702, and a lot cheaper. Not a lot cheaper, but $10 cheaper. Ireland is few dollars cheaper as well, and cheapest would be in Germany. So you can decide. You can easily decide. This is my budget. I have spare time. Where do I want to go? Okay, convenient, and you can plan within your budget. Moving forward to the 20th century, as we can see in the development in the 19th century, there are the travel for pleasure continued to grow. And in Europe, travel was safer and more comfortable. Safer because they ensure that travelers are safe. Comfortable because now they have one currency. And also, aside from one currency, one visa will allow you to enter several other countries within Europe. But of course, for Korean people, it's free. For us, then we have to avail of that visa. Richer population was increasingly curious to see the world around them. So before, travel is a luxury. But nowadays, in the 20th century, people feel that travel is actually a necessity. And so you can see around, most of the Koreans have traveled because for them, it's an investment, so that they can get a better job. So more places they have visited, a bigger opportunity for them to work. Also, mass tourism begins to take hold. I have already explained mass tourism. Mass tourism means a big group of people going to one place as a group. There's also a massive improvement in transport technology, resulted to increase car ownership. This is good for people who are driving long distance, like from one state to another. Better and efficient air travel that I already explained a while ago, and the invention of camper van. Camper van is actually like a home that you can bring with you. It's like a truck or maybe a bus that you set up like a home so that you don't need to avail of an accommodation along the way. And air travel was made more accessible, as I've said, because of the LCC, or what we know now as a low cost carrier. And we still have more. The economic downturn. So the pooling of resources like joint marketing, airline alliances like Star Alliance, the pooling of resources, meaning together one airline partnering with another airline for you to get your more points, or a travel agent uh, offering package of partner companies like um, an airline owning a hotel, or maybe a hotel that has also part of a company that owns attraction. And also new airplane design for increased efficiency, like what I've said. Low cost carrier is cheaper. The thing is, you just have a smaller leg space that makes it more efficient, because instead of probably having only 500 seats, because of that new design, they can accommodate more people, like maybe 600 to 650. And they simplify airplane ownership and operation. And also the development of a global community. Global community means no borders. Companies having global locations pave the way to business travel. Like Samsung is present in almost all parts of the world. Likewise, Apple also has companies set up in other countries, but originally, of course, we all know it's US. And also, another niche tourism that has started, but only for the rich, is space tourism. Now, one thing that I would like to make mention is terrorism and military activity sometimes hinders travel. So that's something that we have to look into, because people would want to be safe in the destination that they choose, and they don't want war, civil war, or any kind of threat to their life. So these things are happening now on the 20th century. And if we just open our eyes nowadays, there is a tremendous event in travel and tourism that would definitely affect the travel and tourism big time, and that is the COVID virus. So, don't want to expound on that, but what I want to say is these are the events and that paved the way to the 20th century travel and tourism. So, thank you for listening. If you have questions, let's talk about your questions in our online discussion. And if you have more suggestions or more examples to give for the 19th and the 20th century development of tourism, please don't hesitate to share it with us during the online class. Thank you for listening, and I hope that you learned something from this presentation. Bye!